Ah, yes. Well, you see, I knew I was on the way out. I would be in a home now if I didn't have Chris.
My eyesight got worse, and I began to think maybe I should think of a retirement village. And then I thought, maybe I don't. Maybe I think, because I love living here, and I hated the thought of leaving. So I put my hand up and said, OK, I'm ready. And so that's how I got into it.
We got into a bit of a conversation with her and started talking, or she started telling us about the Homeshare program, and our ears pricked up and our eyes lit up, and we thought, wow, this sounds fantastic.
It's just easy for everyone, and Mum's happy, and that's the main thing.
Because it's brilliant. I mean, it's simple, it's brilliant.
Homeshare is a matching program where we bring together older householders who are usually on their own, who would like someone to live with them, and match them together with a younger person who's interested to help someone manage at home.
The basic agreement is that I give him free accommodation, in return for which he gives me, I think they suggest, 10 hours work a week.
They can stay at home a lot longer, and they're happier. And they've still got their independence, they're making choices about their life.
Oh no, you mustn't say carer to anybody. It's sharer. And some people have this idea they're going to get a carer. Well, it's ridiculous. We don't want. That's what we're trying to avoid. We want to be ourselves, our own person.
There's a lot of isolated people in the community, and it provides the companionship. It also provides safety. Our program deals with a lot of people that are at risk, and so we're always trying to minimise risks for our clients.
The very best part is security at night.
After Wayne died, in fact, I was inclined to go out during the day and then catch up with my housework at night, because it was the night time that was difficult. You feel the loneliness.
Like when I'm facing the editor's box, I get a bit lonely sometimes and wish I had a packet of chocolate or something like that, and Niz will come in with a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits.
It's like a family, he's a part of the family. I don't just kind of live up the other end of the house, we're in the house together, we're sharing, and every day I come in from work and we talk together about, how the day went.
Homeshare took a lot of time and effort to match the client to the home sharer, and that all went very, very well.
We had to fill in some questionnaires and I guess give a bit of our background and a bit of an impression and idea of our personality and our likes and needs and wants.
We had to provide referees, and it took a little while to get all that sorted out because they're very thorough and following through with all the references.
So a lot of it's looking at practical things like, they both love animals, or, they enjoy music and neither smokes, or, all of those sort of things. And then starting to think, what sort of a person are they? And
personalities can clash, and they are nice that they don't clash with my personality.
That's the magic. Yeah, I think of it as a bit of a magic exercise. It is that whole thing of trying to read the chemistry of people and what's going to go with what.
I liked her. I liked the look of her, and I liked the straightforward way she spoke, and spoke her mind. We didn't mince about.
There's some getting to know you steps that we encourage people to take.
We had a trial run for 1 week to see if we could exist together and see if things went smoothly.
We actually say to both parties, don't make up your mind today. I'll ring you, in a couple of days' time, and we'll see what you think about, or if you've got any more questions, and blah, blah, blah. So that there's always a polite way of being able to say, I don't think it's going to work, or, yes, I think so, but I'd like to meet again, and all of those sort of things that are really critical.
The idea was perhaps for a weekend, so I thought that was a good idea. So Malcolm came for a weekend and bought wonderful food and spoilt me, like mad for that weekend. And I knew, and before the weekend, actually, I knew that he was right because, I liked him immediately.
If we've flowed through all of that beautifully, then we make arrangements for them to move in for a month's trial, which everyone hopes will continue on.
And she said, yes, please, can I come?
And ultimately we'll go at the end of the month or as soon as possible afterwards to actually finally negotiate how the share will work, how the bills will get paid and who'll do what and what the jobs will be and all the rest of it.
Yes, we do have an agreement, a contract which is not, you don't have to live by it, but it's just more as a reminder.
We don't really stick to the rules, Malcolm, you could do 10 hours, What I'll do is that, perhaps during the weekends, I'll help Bernice in gardening, perhaps in the morning and on Sunday, perhaps I'll do cooking.
We share gas, water and electricity. We share that.
And with the shopping, it's done separately as well because John has a carer that comes once a week and does the shopping and all the rest. But I must say, every now and again he's got some spuds that I desperately need to use. And there are plenty of times where I love to cook up cakes and all sorts of yummy things and love to share them. So John enjoys them too.
And then practical things like, which bit of the house is yours and where's the room that will be yours.
I can sit down and have my 3 hours in the chair and they can have their 3 hours in another chair up the front of the house. They don't have to sit down and entertain me all the time.
Yes, okay, we are leading independent lives in one respect, but at the same time we're also sharing a lot and there's a connectedness there.
So he studies in his room and he shuts his door and I can play music, whatever I like in here, and it doesn't really disturb him.
And then we keep in contact and ring up and see how things are going. Then we're there for you to be able to say that and we'll pick it up too if we feel that there's something not happening that, should be happening. They do just normal everyday household tasks usually, but not they're not there to be a live-in housekeeper, but more to help the householder do what they would normally do.
He's keeping the garden tidy, he's mowing the grass. I can't even call it lawn, it's so bad, but he mows the grass, the nature strips, and he's swept up trillions of leaves from my lovely pin oak tree out there. Well, I say he's my eyes and my ears because I often don't hear things properly and so he fills me in there. For instance, I can no longer read directions on anything and so he reads my directions and we go shopping together a bit because I can no longer read labels in supermarkets, so it's a bit of guesswork. But when Malcolm comes with me, of course, it's good.
Anything that John needs a hand with, so it could be anything just to move something that he can't move or whatnot. But otherwise, we've been able to help out with some gardening. Otherwise, he would have had to have someone in to do that. So we've done weeding around the garden, and we've started up the veggie garden as well. Help take the bins out at night, make sure that the place is locked up too.
So I figure if I go out and do my shopping, it's just as easy to pick up a few extra things. If you're out in a house or a unit or wherever on your own, you've still got to do the standard, vacuuming bathrooms, mopping, etc. So with one extra person in the house, no, it doesn't make a difference at all, and it's not unpaid labour because I'm not paying rent, which is a very major thing to me as I'm saving for a house.
On the whole, I think it's a good idea, especially, you get to know a culture better.
Things that he perhaps hasn't understood or hasn't heard of, he asked me to explain.
G'day, or, words like bloke.
his mother rings him a lot. And so I said to him, because she doesn't speak English, and I felt it a lot on the phone, all I can say, oh, hello, yes, just a minute. So I said to Malcolm, you've got to teach me to say something. So he said, all right, well, say, how are you? So it's ni hao ma, I say to her now. So she laughed the other end of the phone. She thought that was great. And so she ni hao ma back to me.
Bernice, she has actually improved me in my speaking of English, actually, tremendously. And, she does correct, because I tell her, if I can't pronounce a word correctly, please tell me, right?
The stories are wonderful. Makes my life look pretty boring, but I thought mine was pretty good. But some of the things Lorna's got up to, and yeah, definitely I think we both learn off each other, actually.
It's something we don't have to worry about. We know Chris, we know Mum's happy, and we know that she's been looked after and she feels secure.
Before the homesharer moved in with my client, her daughter, who has a full-time job and a family, had to visit every night to make sure her mother had taken her medication, had eaten a decent meal, and so it actually gave the family a lot of more freedom and a bit of respite. It was good for the family.
Because she was having falls at night, and the family were putting pressure on her, but with the Homeshare program, she's actually been able to stay at home for the last 9 months, and so it's been working very well. And otherwise, this lady would have been looking at going into residential care.
Yes, they're all more relaxed, knowing that I've got Malcolm here.
My mother thing is a good idea, actually.
We've done some figures now, and we reckon there's about a third of these people arguably would be in a home, a hostel at least, if it wasn't for Homeshare.
It's terribly important. I wouldn't be here. I'd be in a hostel or a home. And I couldn't live like that, no garden. I couldn't live. My family, they'd have me on the doorstep.
It has, in many instances now, in our experience, either prevented someone going into residential care or delayed their admission to residential care or brought them out of hospital earlier than they would have otherwise if there'd been no one at home to go home to.
Definitely, definitely. And it helps programs like ours because we only have so many dollars to spend, and this, to me, is the answer.
The bit usually missing is that they'll be home alone at night, and there is a need for someone to be there at night. And, you can't really... There's only residential care that's a substitute for that in terms of support, or homeshare. So it's the way to go.
It's your community, yes. The people who take you to church and drop in from time to time, they may not be prepared to drop in if you're in a hostel, living on the other side of town or even 2 suburbs away.
And her interests and her past is basically in this area, and all her friends.
You have your neighbours, you've got your independence.
It'd be nice if we were more together as a community, and I think Homeshare contributes to that.
Person who said, I don't mind that they're not here all day, but I know someone's going to come home and say, hello, how was your day? And then sit down and have a chat and so on. And that was really significant. Well, that's not $10 worth or $100 worth or any dollars worth. That's just quality of life stuff, isn't it? And people relating to each other.
The older person has something to give, and it's of great value. And that just simply doesn't happen in other programs.
There is a reward for us as well. And it's a personal reward. It's not just that we're able to have affordable accommodation. We are both very fortunate to have each other right together. Yes.
And I think that is most important. I know it's made my life. It's made Toffee's life too. He waits at the door for her every night. He hears the car, and then he wants to play. And he growls, and she growls back. And she gives him a biscuit, and he's happy, aren't you? You're my boy.